Hello, Miss Floyd.
Hello, Mr. Ralph. Did you finish for today? We are happy with your consulting work.
Thank you, Miss Floyd. I always do my best. Although it is harder than I thought to open a business and live here in Switzerland.
Why? This country is very business-friendly. And the people are nice. Although I miss my everyday American conveniences. Thank God for Starbucks.
My local bank just dropped me as a customer, because I am a U.S. person. 2 other banks turned my business down. I don't know where to go.
That's awful. I am sorry to hear that.
Do you have any problems here?
No. As a corporate officer on an expat package, my company takes care of everything. So I don't have to hunt for a bank here myself. Are you sure that's why the banks are turning you down?
Well, that's what they told me. They even made me sign a form that I am leaving of my own accord, and not because they kicked me out.
That's too bad. The price of U.S. citizenship is not cheap. I am sure you will find another bank. They should not do things like that to an American. We are bailing them out, and thanks to us no terrorists ever come here.
That's all well and good, but how am I going to live here?
Like I said, you will no doubt find a better bank. One that deserves your business. Just keep looking. They should know better than to treat Americans this way.
This is making me uneasy. No one seems to want to have anything to do with me. One of the bank employees said it's all because of this new FATCA law, and that it's too expensive for them to hire a cadre of U.S. lawyers and accountants just to offer me banking services. They said my country raises the cost of doing business, and they have a choice whether they want to continue with rising costs or dump U.S. business altogether. They think the U.S. takes itself too seriously and the whole thing is ridiculous and just too much.
Pity the poor fools. They don't know what they're doing. Everyone does business with the U.S. because we were the #1 nation on earth. They will lose business and go bankrupt if they dare to not do business with us. Just look at what happened to that Swiss bank Vigilin.
Vigilin? They went under because the U.S. basically forced them to close down. True, they were helping some Americans to cheat on taxes, but they were a foreign corporation with no presence in the U.S. Surely there were other ways of reprimanding them. Now all banks are afraid of turning out like Vigilin. We are bad for business and each U.S. client on the list is a potential liability. For example, how can a bank know that I really declared my account with them to America? This whole story has driven them to the point where we are more of a liability than an asset.
Whatever. You are not looking at the big picture. We are the most important nation on earth. Other countries' laws be damned. Our laws count more because we are freer and more powerful than everyone. Sorry to be so blunt, Mr. Ralph. And if any foreigner helps a U.S. citizen to cheat on taxes, that person should be thrown in prison for the rest of his life. The U.S. ensures the security of the world and we pay taxes for that.
Yeah, I know we pay taxes. I paid my U.S. accountant 5,000 Swiss francs last year, just to do the return. As well as my Swiss accountant. In the end, I paid more taxes than if I were only Swiss. And it was all on income I earned here and not in America. The U.S. accountant fees here alone are like a second tax. Do you pay double taxes, Miss Floyd?
My company does my tax return for free and they said I owed no extra taxes to the U.S.
Well, good for you, I guess. It's becoming impossible for me to do any business overseas. I may be forced to return to the U.S. to live and work. It's a pity, because I love Europe.
I know it's hard to love our country sometimes. The troops are fighting for our freedom on the front line and you should feel proud to do your part to support them. Whenever you feel sad, just think of the troops. They suffer much more than you.
I support the troops. I just wonder why my little firm has to go bankrupt because of U.S. laws designed to squeeze every penny out of me and punish banks for taking me on as a client.
Like I said, the price of citizenship is not cheap. Sure, my European and South American colleagues will never understand or experience our constraints and suffering because their governments put no further demands on them once they live elsewhere. But mine is a burden of pride. And the so-called freedom of everyone else in the world is just an illusion. We are truly free because we are Americans. Like Mitt Romney once said, we are different than everyone else and special. And don't believe otherwise. If it's so hard, why are you here anyway? You should go back and rejoin our nation.
I'm here because my family is Swiss and I wanted to escape the confines of my little Arkansas town. I wanted to see the world and make something of myself. Plus, I can be much more successful abroad than in America. I could not run my firm as it is in the US and would have to take a job in the service industry. I don't know what I would do there.
I'm sure you would think of something. We are the land of opportunity. Personally, I can't wait to return to America and enjoy my life again. It is a burden to work in this country. Plus, it smells funny here. Ah, the travails of a patriot.
I'm sure for you it is all so much easier.
Like I said, you probably shouldn't be here anyway. You don't belong. And don't forget, as an American you have a privileged life. Much better than the ignorant people in Switzerland. For example, if you get into trouble, we will send an aircraft carrier to rescue you.
I didn't know Switzerland had oceans. My neighbor is a dual US and Swiss citizen but has never been to the US, and her American grandmother passed away in 2008. She was mentioned in the will, and never knew she had to pay American inheritance taxes. Also, she never declared her US taxes, only her Swiss ones. Now the US government put her on the Interpol list and she will get arrested if she leaves Switzerland. She says she cannot settle the tax bill of $500,000 without giving up her pension money and retirement. Since she refuses to pay, she says she can never travel outside of Switzerland again. I feel sorry for her and wish I could help.
That reminds me of Roman Polanski. Do you know the depraved things he did? I will bet your neighbor also did something hideous. There is probably more to the story than just taxes. I am sure of that.
I actually know a couple of other US persons with similar stories, so I believe it is just a tax issue. The US government is broke, and is willing to screw over its own citizens to cover a measly portion of its deficit. Truly sad. You say we were free, but we were not. We are just serfs, nothing more and nothing less.
How ridiculous. You are speaking nonsense, man. I am starting to believe you are no true American. It is clear you have been abroad far too long. Be careful about turning native. It does strange things to your outlook. Before you know it, you will believe that it's possible for other countries to be freer than us, and other such nonsense. Free yourself before it's too late.